How is up, everyone? It's your boy, Eleanor! And today, we're going to solve a mystery. A mystery of how intelligence systems all of a sudden paid attention to Anna. As you all know, Anna doesn't really appear in the story. She gives like a couple choice lines, and then, well, Alphonse steals the show. Sometimes Sharina. And then, she only had like one ult after like 3 years. So, suddenly, we have another ult. And this is the one that looks like it appeared from Awakening? I don't even know. I can't remember how she looks in Awakening anymore. It's been like 10,000 years. And speaking of, it's pretty funny because Awakening is the feature for this banner, and in particularly, I have a favorite here. I have Mustafa. Mustafa, I think he's a pretty cool guy. And shows up in one battle and doesn't afraid of anything. I have no idea why he's a featured character. I mean, yeah, he kind of got, shafted in the whole skill inheritance thing and doesn't have a breath weapon or anything like that. But that's okay, because first of all, a guy named TJ Storm voices him. Second, the man has nipples. All the other guys, they don't have nipples. I don't know what the hell happened. It must be some kind of genetic disorder. But Mustafa does not yield to such conventions. At any rate, so we should probably talk about the characters and yada 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 and end it with that. So let's start with Anna. Anna is actually really simple. It's just like the stock Anna that we've been using for story, or, well, I've been using for story. I don't know what you guys been doing with Anna. Maybe you guys use her in the arena, but she's kind of boring. I mean, yeah, she gets to move 2 spaces. I mean, she gets to move to a space adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces. But that's really all there is to it. I actually rather like Anna's ability, the normal Anna's ability, of which she can just teleport you any unit if her health is low. Though, of course, her health actually has to be low to do such a thing, but, I like the idea that she could pop up from anywhere. Not that this one is bad or anything. I mean, this one has foe. If foe's HP is greater or equals to 75%, she gets attack and speed plus 5, and we can always use a little bit more stats. But otherwise, she's kind of boring. I'm sure she's really fast. I'm sure she's just like the regular Anna. She just pops up somewhere and then starts beating this crap out of people. So attack speed form is perfect for her, or attack speed bond. Both of them will work. Attack speed Bruce, I think she's more of an attacking character, so I wouldn't really use her for rally. But I mean, there's situations where you're not going to use Anna for that, and then you can use a ruse. But honestly, I would use something like, okay, alright, you got me there. I'm probably going to use close call or something like that, because if you're going to be an infantry unit and you're going to be fast, that's the kind of stuff you use so that you can break someone in half and not have to worry about it. Of course, alternatively, we could always use something like Wrath. We can always use something like No Follow-Up. So those things always work. Infantry has it good right now. But, like I said, she's kind of boring. She really feels like a stock character. She's honestly not that far from Mustafa, honestly. The only reason why she's good now is because she has, well, the Apotheosis Spear, which is, like I said, okay, it's not a big deal. I mean, I still feel like IS is kind of like, blah, when it comes to Anna. I don't know why. But I think she could have used a secret technique that is a little more unique to her own. I mean, right now, you could just get like a ground order, or like some kind of support to move to another unit within 2 spaces. I mean, if she could do it without any restrictions, like she could just plain move to a space adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces, then that would make her into a terrifying unit, of course. Maybe even overpowered. But, well, that would have been something kind of unique for her own. Honestly, I would have liked that for Takumi. Takumi kind of got shafted in that department as well. And Takumi isn't even particularly strong. What was his second ability? I think it was like treat all terrains as 1 space. I don't even remember. I don't even use Takumi. I mean, that's like close close counter fodder. There's no reason to use them. At any rate, and what else does she have? Ooh, joint drive speed. Okay, so that's something that's kind of useful. See, speed +4 with two allies within the two spaces, or with two spaces within an ally, is pretty nice. It's just like how I want to joint drive attack for well, pretty much any character I use. This is one of these techniques that allows you to boost your stats further than what is normally possible by using the C slot. So they're currently making some really aggressive C slot choices. I like that, and I like times pulse. So I have to kind of decide on this because times pulse can lead to some really devastating attacks. But honestly though, I don't really see much of Anna that's really unique and powerful on her own. I would probably just use her as a joint drive speed fodder. It's a little unfortunate, but that's just the way things are right now. On the other hand, Sayuri. Sayuri is interesting because, well, the Amatsu has a special cooldown -1, and she has distant counter weapon, except only when her health is above 50%, which isn't hard to do. But the problem with that is that, well, see, we just recently had Fallen Ike, and Fallen Ike has a rather overpowered distant counter weapon. Well, I think the idea of having cooldown -1 is really good anyway, because infantry really abuses the hell out of it. With like times pulse and whatnot, she could spam techniques over and over and over again, and there's really not much you can do about that. But what's most important about her is that Kestrel stands 3. Kestrel stands 3 finally with attack speed +6 and a special cooldown charge of -1 means that she is going to be able to negate a great deal of enemy skills if she's put up into enemy phase. Of course, as always, close call 3, because that's what, that's damage reduction is now the thing. And I think it's going to be a thing for pretty much the rest of this year, maybe even next year. It took like how long before there are some counters for certain skills? Or like, I don't know. I just feel that they probably will just they'll probably just bring up some stupid 5-star counters for. First, they'll come in the form of 5-star characters with prep weapons that can negate the counter attack. I mean, the damage reduction. But even then, it probably has like some kind of a catch, some kind of requirement. Right now, the only thing we have that can counter damage reduction is Altina, and Altina needs to actually get her skill off to use this. And of course, she's a flying unit, so there's a great deal of things that she can't use and get her twin blades out in time to actually remove people's damage reductions. And even then, it's only for that one hit. So, I'm sure later they'll maybe give like some kind of skill that allows you to remove damage reduction at a lower strength. But I don't know. I think that this close call nonsense is going to stay relevant pretty much for a long time. Maybe even forever, because you still need like those specific units to counter them, and I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to be 5-star exclusive for quite a while. So characters like Sayuri will benefit greatly just for the sake of being there, just having close call 3 built in. Of course, if I get Sayuri, I probably will just sacrifice her for a Kestrel stance and slap it onto Fallen Ike. To evil Magic Ike, because I mean, like, seriously, that's like the only thing that he's missing. He needed a way to reduce enemy cooldown charges, because one of the things with damage reduction characters is that sometimes they could die if they end up taking too many skills attacks, especially from the likes of Astra. I mean, nobody uses Astra in like Aether Rays, or normally anyway, but Astra is one of those techniques that can really, really, really ruin your day because of the overwhelming raw damage it can do. On the other hand, I mean, it's not going to happen now because there's the Kestrel stands, but even then, 4 charges, it's going to be a while. Glimmer, it's going to be a while. I think that the problem now is that Kestrel Stance does have a weakness in terms that, well, Lysithea is a thing. Lysithea has her skill pre-charged already, and that is one of these things that'll really ruin your day. But she can only do it up to 2, luckily. But if she were to say, oh, I don't know, use special Spyro, and has Astro attach, and has infantry pulse support, then you have something to really be afraid about. See, I haven't seen anyone do that. Everyone always just builds the usual, or Moonbow, or Glimmer, or some shit like that. They're no match for Ultimate Magic Bike. But if you were to use that, well, I think I'd shit my pants. That would hurt so much. I don't think I'll be able to stand against something like that. But you know, generally most people who watch my videos don't even get to this part, so that's okay! That's okay, I'm like talking to myself because I'm crazy, because I'm massive brain damage. But if you're still here, I applaud you, and you've learned much from listening to me. Alright, now, next up we have Mustafa. Mustafa is... I like him. He's cool. Doesn't afraid of anything. He has a great personality. He's very honorable. He fought in 1 battle. That's all I have to say about him. I mean, I can understand why he would have like a kit like this, barrier axe and water boost and dev tactic. Oh boy, this dude like just springs right out of 2017. But that's okay. That's okay. We can now fix him. We have the technology now. We can just give him like this massive fan. We can give him just a counter. Oh, if he's fast, we'll give him close call, and then we'll steal joint drive speed from Anna or something, and there you have it. We have a powerful character. Tanks everything, doesn't afraid of anything. Give him guard axe, no problem. No problem at all. And then he'll tank everything, and then he'll rip someone's face off, and that'll be the end of it. See? Nowadays, I'm very glad that skill inheritance will make characters such as Mustafa relevant and powerful. But yeah, it's either guard axe or the giant fan. It really depends on your playstyle. Anyway, next up, we have this Mirabilis, who has decided to be a character, and 4 o'clock here is one of these characters that you only need 1 copy of, because she doesn't need to calculate based on difference of stats. She just kind of sits there, she supports by dancing, and that's pretty much all there is to it. But what is scary about her is that, oh hey, she can inflict attack, dev, res -3 in 3 columns. That's actually pretty scary. That's like half the map. And that's only if penalties exist on the character. But you know what? Penalty these days, they shit everywhere. They're all over the place. It's not that bad doing it. Of course, I've also mentioned that penalty in of itself is a liability, especially against characters like that Fallen Ike we just talked about. So using characters like 4 o'clock here is a bit of a risk, shall we say. I mean, you still need the penalty to be active in the first place, and in order to activate that, you either have a map for that occasion, set up with certain buildings, or characters that uses chill, or using Yoon, or something like that. Or you can use her Whimsical Dream, which is actually a pretty stupid thing. First of all, it gives attack +5, though that's... You can easily get that from attack tactics, so that's not a big deal. But the thing is that she does this thing where she inflicts attack -5 to nearest foes within 4 spaces. 4 spaces in a game like Fire Emblem Heroes is massive. It's like pretty much a big chunk of the map. and then some. Target ally and any foes within 2 spaces of those foes. So you pretty much can expect to overwhelm your opponents with this attack -5 nonsense. Now, like I said, I don't really like debuffs all that much, because debuffs are something that'll get you in trouble if you fight Fallen Ike or Dune or Brunya. But this thing does have an advantage in that it's more of a player-phase thing, so you could really go ahead and take down an enemy before they could take advantage of this. Usually through Restore Plus, or through Harsh Command Plus, or something like that. But against those characters, it's a bit of an issue, but of course you have to actually face those characters to begin with to make it even an issue, so there's no problem. This character works just fine. And then we have Fortress Dev Res, which is fine. And of course, with Fortress Dev Res, you now have the visible res to use Sabotage skills. So Sabotage Dev, no problem, we got it covered. This unit just sits in the back all day and inflicts debuffs, we get it. And then there's a Dev Res Gap, which is, I don't really like Dev Res Gap, I don't like Gap skills in general because it's really specific. It's not like the other skills where it focuses on one stats, yes, but it's much easier to proc, and you could just, like, especially attack opening. Attack opening is my favorite because I just need to line up my units' attack to the same thing. I did that with my flyer team with Camilla, with Al-Qaeda and Claire Bear, and make all their attacks the same, and then have them rip enemy to shreds with their gold flyers nonsense. It's a very scary situation that you could do with stats that matches up. Dev Res Gap, you focus entirely on one unit. I mean, it's still good if your goal is to just focus on that one unit, but otherwise, let's have a pass on that one. Well, we can probably do something a little bit better than that. Probably the opening skills, yeah. Or maybe not more debuffs. Ploy is kind of outdated now. I think they've got too many different ways to do debuffs that it's not a big deal anymore. At any rate, that's pretty much it for these characters. They feel like, honestly, this banner feels like Farfetch'd heroes than anything else to me. Farfetch'd heroes that we haven't heard of in a while. These characters are mostly kind of, I don't want to say unpopular because everybody wanted a Ana ult, but, well, unpopular in IS maybe. And then there's Sayri, who I don't think she's all that popular. I know a lot of people talk about her, but I don't think they speak for the majority. And I also think that it's kind of funny how Sayri doesn't even have English voice, and it will be implemented at a later date. Which, honestly, I don't get why, because Sayri speaking Japanese is actually pretty cool. It actually, you know, makes her Japanese. You know, for these Japanese immigrants who arrived in Valentia or Valm at some point and started speaking Japanese and English at the same time. But, you know, it's cool that they speak Japanese, and I thought that it would be kind of cool if they just kind of stick with the Japanese thing. But I suppose, you know, speaking English could be cool. I don't know why they have the whole voice line implemented at a later date, though. I honestly don't get it myself. I mean, they must have some problems with VAs or something like that, or maybe they just want to make it sound Japanese for her introductions. Who knows? Who cares? She's just gonna be eaten up by Fallen Ike anyway. Like, that's pretty much her whole existence for me. She just gets eaten up by Fallen Ike. But the special cooldown -1 is very useful. I would not look down on that. Just for the sake that you have special cooldown -1 and counterattack means a whole lot, considering the fact that usually you use distant counter weapons to, well, counterattacks. So when you take a hit, you give them what they truly deserve on the second blow. Honestly, I feel like Sayri would make much better use of breath skills, so that she could unleash, if she has breath and she has times pulse, she can unleash a 4-charge skill right there after a single attack. That's insane! That's Captain Insano! That's something that we should really look forward to if we're going to use Sayri. So we should definitely differentiate the different characters based on their different skills. Kestrel Stance, honestly, is not really for Sayri. It's good to keep her healthy, but I think the whole breath thing and ripping someone's face off is another matter altogether. I think that's something that we should look forward to. Kestrel Stance, would be better for Ike, because Ike himself is set up to be able to do quite a few things. Mainly because Ike is really fast, and he could really use the guard. And of course, he also can just slap on Flashing Blade, like how I did it with God and Mirabilis. Give him Flashing Blade, give him Times Pulse, and then you give Kestrel Stance, so when someone goes and hits him, meaning they negates the enemy charge, he just boop boop. But then again, now I think about it, if the enemy attacks first, it doesn't really matter in the first place, huh? Unless they have skills charged up already, I think it doesn't really matter. Well, I suppose it could be useful against someone who uses Old Fighter or something like that. But now that I think about it, I might be a little bit wrong. Now that I think about it, Kestrel Stance maybe isn't all that great. Now that I think about it, because they only get to hit once unless they have some way to hit twice. But then again, there's so many characters who can hit twice these days, and since Ike probably wouldn't want to use no follow-up, yeah, I think maybe this. Yeah, I think maybe Kestrel Stance has some use for him. I mean, he can still unleash his what is it called again? Chaos Aether or shit like that. I don't remember. It's some stupid name. Just some edgy, stupid name that they did to try to sound cool. So there's that. Yeah, honestly, Kestrel Stance maybe isn't as strong as I thought. I suppose it does give him the speed, though, so it is really good, but give me attack and speed. No, I think I might still use Kestrel Stance for him. Yeah, and I think about it, maybe it's still a good idea, because there's just so many different people who can use force follow-up attacks, and there's no way for Ike to stop it unless he uses no follow-up. And if he uses no follow-up, he finds himself with a weakness to his resistance. Yeah, I think Kestrel Stance, Close Call, Times Pulse, and Flashing Blade is probably the best use for him. Yeah. At any rate, now that I've done talking to myself, you now understand my views on this banner. So that's pretty much it. I thank you all for watching. Until next time.